Hello, I'm Deborah Hills from Queen Mary's School of the Arts. Welcome to Get Spotted. This podcast series is part of our QM Elevate programme, designed to help you build confidence and develop the communication skills you need to succeed at university and in your future career. In each episode, we'll talk with students, alumni and academics from different disciplines and see how engaging with assignments can be a game changer, helping you refine your communication skills and stand out in the workplace. Let's get started. This episode is business studies.
I'm being very introvert. I couldn't speak for the right things. I'm not very explorative. But when I got in abroad, when I got into my uni, I just got this voice in me that you should speak up. You should speak up for people's right. You should speak up for yourself. Otherwise, no one's gonna hear you.
So, this episode of Get Spotted, we're going to be looking at a great QM initiative called Storytelling Unboxed. So let's meet our participants and then we'll find out more about it. Over to you.
I'm Saima Shirazi. I'm the director of the Language Center, and I'm utterly fascinated by Storytelling Unboxed and want to know more about it.
Excellent.
My name is Endrit Haziri. I'm a second-year marketing student undergrad, and I've participated in quite a few Storytelling Unboxed events.
And I'm SMA Moin. I'm a senior lecturer in marketing at the business school, and I'm also one of the founders of Storytelling Unboxed. So really happy and delighted to be with you to share some idea about it.
Excellent. And then we've got Nafis coming in from Teams.
Hi folks, this is Nafis. I've graduated from Queen Mary last year. I've graduated in marketing and digital analytics and from the School of Business and Management. And I'm glad to be here to talk directly to my peers over this platform.
Thank you. So, Dr. Moin, tell us more about Storytelling Unboxed.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, I joined Queen Mary University of London in 2022. It was January. So this is Art 1, but I met Professor Yasmin Ibrahim in Art 2. We are preparing to give a lecture for the postgraduate students, 340 students, and we are preparing to do a team teaching on brand management module. And all of a sudden, we realized that while we are teaching brand management, what about each and every student? Here is a brand. And how can we make them a brand? Because they are unique. So this idea of storytelling comes because we thought that we have to connect the dots, which is knowledge, skill, and identity. So giving a student the character and identity is very important. So we created a third space. This is a realm between the classroom and life, where a student can come, tell their story, share their ideas, and hang out with other fellow students. But at the same time, also, they can have conversation with the professionals from the industry because we also invite them. But they can also have the dialogue with the community members. So you might see that there is a restaurant here which is serving the community for 20 years, but they have not become a brand yet. But you can invite them and they can share their idea that how they are doing it. So that was one aspect. And so this third place, so we started doing a lot of events, but eventually we understand that this has ramification, the way we also teach in our classroom as well. Because when you embrace a storytelling as a teaching pedagogy, we think that three magical things happens. What is that? The first of all, the classroom becomes a playground of a fantasy genre. And a student reimagine themselves as protagonists. So they understand that there is ups and downs, there are challenges, but they will be transformed at the end. So they realize that they are not equal, but they are unique. So they are a different character. But then teaching and learning, it becomes a narrative art. It means that knowledge is not just transferred from head to head, but the passion to learn and grow channeled through heart to heart. So that's kind of our start.
It's beautiful. The way he has expressed it, it's just beautiful. Yes, so transformation starts from the heart. And if you're speaking from the heart, as you, Professor Moin, obviously are speaking from the heart.
And you have nights where students tell their stories, and that's right, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. And some of them are sitting here and online connected with you as well.
Right.
So I would allow them.
Okay. So, Nafis, tell us about your experience of taking part in Storytelling Unboxed.
Well, it has been quite a great journey for me. Obviously, English is not my first language, but while I am into this storytelling as a part as a storyteller, I get into a different shape, in a different personality, where I get the idea how to represent myself and how to open myself. I have a lot of things to tell, and I think with the Storytelling Unboxed, I was being able to get myself in that podium where I can speak freely with all my heart. And that's how this initiative helped me to prepare myself for the modern world.
And what story was it that you were telling?
Well, the narrative of my life began in a bustling city of Dhaka, which I'm currently in. I'm currently in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. So, the life here is quite not easy, and my parents, who wanted to ensure a better future for me, came to Dhaka, and at the same time there was a pressure for earning the bread and butter for me and to ensure a good future for me. So both my parents had to work to ensure a living for me, and they entrusted my care to a childminder. Obviously, in the city, it is quite common that you are being raised in the supervision of a nanny, which I had back in when I was a toddler. So my nanny, her name was Miss Ranu, and she was a compassionate and dedicated nanny. She was just not a nanny, she was also a mother. She had a son whom she left back in her own village. She came to Dhaka just to look for a job. I felt like while growing up, when I realized that that was quite a bold move from my nanny, that she mirrored the same thing that my parents had for me. She also wanted a better future for her child as well. So that's where I came from, and that's where I grew up, being in care of the childminder, and being close to my nanny, and I had a quite illustrious childhood, being in her care and her supervision. So what really happened, what bring me here, what bring me in the UK, why am I relating the story in my life? Because it has a deeper meaning to me, and with my story I can really connect it to the goals and aspirations of my life. So what happened when I grew up, when I got older, I don't naturally I don't need a nanny to take care of myself. I had this distant dream to get along with my life, and my once a while I just had a conversation with my nanny, but all those got shattered once there was this tragedy called Rana Plaza in 2013 that took the life of my nanny, and she has been working for a textile industry in one of those fashion industries. And due to this major collapse happened in 2013 when she died, which is considered as one of the one of the most tragic industrial disaster in the history. So while growing up, I just thought that what was her fault? Why she lost her life in that manner. She didn't need to come to the to work for the textile industry. She didn't need to work for a sweatshop, but probably the financial condition compelled her to work in such a draconian condition, which called for her. I can understand her. Uh, I can understand what she was coming, where she was coming from, and that's when I dig deeper into the problem, when I found that there was other entities involved in this issue. So I found out there were like 10 or 15 fashion retailers who operates worldwide, and they really had that opportunity to ensure the living condition and the working condition of those workers, which was not ensured before the work was contracted with the local dealer. I understand my country is not the best in order to enforce all the regulations, but I really thought that some bigger entity can really look deeper into this problem. So that's what brought me to the high streets of London. I did my master's from Queen Mary, and I did my master's in marketing and digital analytics. And although I had my dissertation on the sustainable fashion, so while being here, I had the opportunity to work with the major conglomerates, like the policymakers, the RAP and the Fashion Revolution, which are the biggest entity in the UK, who had been working towards ensuring the sustainable fashion and the fair wages to these underprivileged workers. So that's how my story began. That's how I got into the UK, and this is what my story is. And I believe this is where I start. This is just the beginning of my story.
Wonderful.
Very, very moving story.
It's very moving and very memorable, and it makes us understand the drive inside you, doesn't it? The drive to succeed and the need to honour your nanny. And amazing, yeah.
So, Nafis, I have a question for you. In terms of that this experience that you had, and the experience of telling this story in front of an audience, what did that do for you?
Such a good question.
Well, thanks for your question, Ms. Saima. I think like while being back in my own country when I was in Bangladesh, I think like although I'm being very introvert, I couldn't like speak for the right things. I'm not very explorative, but when I got in abroad, when I got into my uni, I just got this voice in me that you should speak up. You should speak up for people's right. You should speak up for yourself. Otherwise, no one's gonna hear you. So in order to push myself in front of the whole world, I myself started a podcast to my own, and it's just a way how I can get into this industry to make network with people and bring the people to my show and just host them to discuss the problem so that the whole world can see. So this is one of the initiatives that I have thought for myself, and I'm not sure if I'm on the right track, but I'm definitely trying.
So do you think you've become more critical of the policies of the fashion retail houses, or have you become more aware of exploitation? And does it, for yourself, does it give you a sense of accomplishment and self-worth that you took this, that you were the protagonist in this story, and that you were speaking up, you were the hero of this story, and you were speaking up for your nanny here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I did is that I did my master's on data analytics. So that's when I got the idea that you can turn the data into like meaningful story. And while being analyzing the data, I could see deeper into what's the actual scenario. Is Are the people actually being impoverished, or actually they have been sidelined? So with those data and with the statistics, I could look deeper into the story, and that's when I can voice it. I feel more confident, and I feel like I can avenge or talk the meaningful things and contribute better in solving this problem.
Thank you so much. We're going to listen to Andrit and his experience, and we're going to come back to what you were saying about, because to me, this sounds like the beginning of a leader. So we'll talk about that after we hear something from Andrit and your experience of Storytelling Unboxed.
So coming into university and into Queen Mary, I had this real desire getting involved in the uni space and the uni environment and things around campus. I knew that I could either go to my classes and just get them done and go home, or I could get involved and make a difference for myself and make the most out of my uni experience here. And so I was really searching for experiences, events, societies that would really help me get integrated and build more confidence. I'd been at my secondary and sixth form for 7 years. So to be at that environment for so long and then to make a switch at age 19 was life-changing for me, and I had to find a way to grapple with this new environment after being in the same environment for so long. And back when I was doing my A-levels, I really had a passion for acting and drama. I did theatre, I did drama A-level, and I thought for the longest time that that would be my direction in life. And I came to change my decision on what career I wanted to do. So I ended up doing marketing instead at university. And so I thought coming into university that these skills, these experiences that I had in drama and acting, I would have to leave them aside and put them aside, and I would never go on stage and I'd never perform again in my life. And, you know, I have to take a completely different path. And I had to come to terms with putting all of those aside. And then I found out about Storytelling Unboxed, and I thought, well, this is great. This is like a business school initiative, but it rings more of like the stuff I used to do in acting and drama. And so I thought I should give this a go. And to my surprise, I found that these skills that I'd, you know, shafted coming in, I found a new use for them in the business school and in my new degree. And I started to realize, oh, well, this skill, I can apply it there. And this skill, I can apply it here. And the Storytelling Unboxed made me realize that the skills that you learn aren't just for one thing, you know? You can apply them to a range of different things, a range of different careers. And it really opened my mind into how much I could do with the skills that I developed. And there is no limit to what you can do with the skills that you've gained. And so that was the start of my journey there, in that realization.
And we're going to hear about a story that you told that Dr. Moin witnessed. But before we do, can I ask, in your academic work, like assessments that you're doing, are you bringing any of this into that, either oral or written? Are you bringing?
Do you know what? Now that I think of it, so I completed a module this semester that just finished called Research Methodologies. It's to prepare me for my dissertation. So I did like a mini dissertation report where I had to do research on a topic that I was passionate about. Naturally, I did film and film posters because acting and all of that, it's natural for me. And when I'd come across research reports in the past where I had to read over them, they were assigned to me in my lectures, I realized that, you know, going through the findings, they were just so boring. It was just, here's the result, here's what happened, here's what we found, this is what it means, in very like academic jargon. And I was like, this is not interesting for me. So I was like, how can I make mine more appealing? How could I, you know, tell a story through the findings that I found in my research report? And so I recall on all the strategies and tips that Dr. Moin told me about, you know, the hero's journey and all of this, and the underdog. And I started to weave them into my findings and research report. And I created this really beautiful findings section in my research methodologies assignment. And it's only now that I've realized that I've pulled from these different experiences that I've had to craft something that's really meaningful to me and something that I was passionate about, and not just something that I, tick the box, I had to get done. It's just for my degree. It was something that I could invest myself in.
I love that. Are we allowed to link to that? Will we be able to see your...
It's not published anywhere, but I can link the report if you want. Yeah.
So tell us about when Endrit gave a talk and you were there and what you witnessed.
So it was so profound, because profound feeling, because I can see that a student actually, he's giving a talk in a conference, and I think probably he and one of his colleague, they are the two students only attended this conference. It was LTSE under the banner of Association of Business School, and all are participated by renowned academics. And it's very difficult to get in there as well. So it was like, say, there were 3 speakers, and they were just presenting a project. And he brought this idea of storytelling, and I was spellbound. So what he did, he started in this way, that he said that when I come to this university, and I was given a responsibility actually to get ahead project. So I have to support people, students, those who come from underprivileged background, especially from BTech background. And I was momentarily lost. And there was darkness. I was in the darkness. And when he was saying this thing, he slowly walked towards the switch, and he switched off the light. And it was dark. And everybody was just surprised. What happened? And they had now it was dark, and they can even hear all the, the sound and everything that nobody was noticing. And he said that then there was one light on top of me, because that is the light of responsibility. And I thought that I have to do something. And then he asked everybody. So when he said that there was one light, he actually put this light using his phone, flashlight. And then he asked everybody that, can you use your flashlight as well? So everybody done that. And it was a different kind of experience. So now the room is lighted with a small light. And he said that when you bring one light, you will see that other lights are coming, supporting you. And that was the journey. So then the second speaker took, but the attention he grabbed. You see, thing is that you might have the best idea in the world, but if nobody cares about you, so as a storyteller, you need to make sure that your audience understand that you care them before they understand that you are knowledgeable, because that's important, and he does that. So that's what Aristotle said actually long time before that: ethos, logos, and pathos. So you do the ethos is the credibility. You bring a character. Like if you say that my mother told me that. So everybody has a mother, so you can relate it to. Then you say that Nafis was talking about data, so that is logos. So you need to give some data detail. But then this data doesn't speak unless you wrap them with emotion, which is pathos. So he exactly did that in the presentation, and I was so happy. And I was seeing the transformation. And I understand that he has transformed a lot, because when he was talking, you understand that. But obviously, I will add something more later, but maybe, yeah.
I just think it's amazing. Hearing, the story sounds memorable. So obviously it was a really good story, but you create a drama to make it memorable. And I teach storytelling as well. And we look at how a good story releases certain hormones. And one is cortisol. So... And you made them tense because you made the light go off. And so be able to release cortisol is so important. And then the other one's oxytocin to make people care. I was in the darkness. Oh my God, poor Andre, I hope he's okay now. So, and by releasing those hormones, it makes people empathize with you, and it makes it more memorable. So yeah, it sounds incredible. Yeah.
And can you imagine a dark room with all these lights from people's cameras.
It's
Yeah,
powerful.
what
It was powerful.
Yes,
Yeah.
what a sight that must be.
True connection because you made them a part of it. I think that's really hard to do as well, make people active when you're giving a speech. So, yeah. Some students, and I could imagine I might have been like this, would have loved the idea of Storytelling Unboxed, but it would have filled them with absolute fear.
So those people are like, oh, he's really brave. He's going on stage. Trust me, I'm not. I'm in this environment that I've been in 1,000 times before.
100, but may I just add here that what in film and drama you don't do is that you project characters, different characters. Here, you're being brave because you're being yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so so don't discredit yourself.
Of course.
Yes, you're being your. Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's another thing that, I've always put on a show to bring a character to life.
Yeah.
Once that fell away and I joined Storytelling Unboxed, it wasn't a character anymore. I had to figure out how to create a story out of my own life. And that's something that I think you can even apply to like interviews where a competency interview or personal interview, they're just a bunch of mini stories that you tell to the interviewer, no? They're just a bunch of, they ask you, tell me at one time where you had to be a leader. And that's a story that you fabricate to them. So there's a lot of applications to this and a lot that you can take away from an initiative like Storytelling Unboxed.
Absolutely. So we're going to bring Nafis. So we didn't forget you there. Tell us about...
That's absolutely right. I was being very much into Endrit's story and the way he explained how he overcome his fear for the public speaking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have to agree with Endrit because I myself think I'm a coward while being on the stage. But then again, that's what I felt that if I am sitting in the audience row, I might be thinking, what if I am on the stage? What if I could tell my story the way I am today being on the stage? So I'm just thinking about the brighter side that when I'm being on the stage, I have to tell my story. This is my podium. This is my opportunity. So that's how I just got overcome with the fear. And again, I just felt like while you're telling a story, you're into a different dimension. Even if you're an introvert, you become extrovert while you're speaking. Trust me on that. I am such an introvert person. I become extrovert when I speak. And last but not the least, I just take off my glass. I don't see any audience. I just telling my story.
That's a great tip. A friend of mine once said to me, because he tells a lot of stories, and he said he was very successful with women, and I couldn't understand it because when I met him. But then he said, what it is I talk to them, and if they're not interested and they say something quite rude to me, well, I turn that into a story, and then I tell someone else, and then they listen to that story and they feel really sorry for me. I just think the idea of when bad things happen to you or negative things, realizing that that's a future anecdote is a really good way of trying to build yourself and build your confidence.
Turning failure into a story.
And it's sort of inevitable. Like I saw this quote, I think that Stephen Bartlett put on LinkedIn. He said, the first podcast that you do will be rubbish. The first show that you do will be rubbish. The first sport that you try out will be rubbish. Every first thing that you try out will be bad. So just take that first step. Learn to be bad the first time and then improve. We all started at point zero, and so did I, So there's nothing you have to fear, because every time you try something new, it's almost bound to be not that good anyway. So what's stopping you from trying and being bad anyway? That's part of life.
So what we say, we say that life is a mixed genre. Because it's a mixed genre, you need to understand that how a story works, genre. So each genres are the windows to the world. And when you see this world through the windows, different windows, you get different angle. And that changes your perspective. So a storytelling, when you really go deeper into it, you not only tell good stories, but you also live a good life.
Thank you so much.
Deborah? No, Deborah, I think you and I should attend this course, this module.
Definitely. Well, it's about transformation and change, isn't it? And it sounds amazing.
As you know, Professor Moin, I think I'm joining your class next time it's offered.
Thank you so much, everybody, for this. And I think it's just, as you say, it's incredibly motivating, and it makes you think about not just being this student who just comes to university pragmatically to get your degree, but to grow and change and transform. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nafis.
Thank you, Nafis.
Thanks for having us.
You'll find all of the links discussed on the Get Spotted webpage. And if you want help in developing your communication skills, why not sign up for the Communicate with Impact Masterclass or one of our other modules, free to all QM students. Details on the QM Elevate webpage.